everyone. Today we're going to pull back the curtain on one of the most powerful forces shaping our world, artificial intelligence. We're going to break it all down to its most basic core ingredient, the algorithm. So, yeah, let's just dive right in.
It really all starts with a question, right? What is that invisible thing, that magic that recommends your next favorite song or helps your phone recognize your face? Well, the answer? It's kind of like a secret recipe.
Okay, so what is an AI algorithm technically? Well, at its core, it's a set of rules that lets a machine learn from data, find patterns in that data, and then make decisions or predictions. You can think of it like the instruction manual for making a machine intelligent.
But let's make that even simpler. Forget the instruction manual. Let's just think of an AI algorithm as a recipe. But it's a recipe that doesn't just create, a cake, it creates a little piece of intelligence itself. And that's the big idea we're going to explore today.
Okay, fair question. If it's a recipe, what are the steps? I mean, how do you actually go from a bunch of raw ingredients to a fully formed, intelligent result? Let's break it down. So this is really where the magic happens. The AI recipe isn't just one simple thing. It's a 5-part process. It's a process that takes raw data and step by step turns it into intelligence. Let's walk through each one of these. You know, every great recipe starts with quality ingredients. Well, for an AI algorithm, that ingredient is data. And I mean tons and tons of it. This data is the fuel, it's the raw material that the algorithm's gonna learn from. We're talking images, text, numbers, pretty much anything it can get its digital hands on. Next up, the algorithm starts actually processing all that data. This is what we call the training phase. And it's just like a chef mixing ingredients and constantly, tasting and adjusting the seasoning. The algorithm is basically adjusting millions of tiny internal settings to better understand the data it's looking at. Now this is where the real learning kicks in. By sifting through millions of examples, the algorithm starts to see the patterns, the connections that are hidden deep inside the data. It's not just looking at ingredients anymore, it's starting to understand the flavor. It learns to connect specific inputs with specific outcomes, kind of like how we learn that smoke usually means fire. And now, for the main course. Once it's trained, the algorithm is finally ready to make a prediction or a decision about brand new data, stuff it has never ever seen before. It uses all those patterns it learned to make a really informed guess. This is the output. This is the final dish being served. But here's the thing, this recipe is never really finished. The algorithm gets feedback on its predictions. Was it right? Was it wrong? And this feedback loop lets it constantly learn from its mistakes, fine-tuning its process and just getting better and better and more accurate over time. It's a recipe that actually improves itself. Of course, right? You wouldn't use a cake recipe to make a steak. And it's the exact same idea here. There are tons of different types of AI algorithms, and each one is designed for a very specific kind of job. So let's open up the AI cookbook and see what's inside.
And this table really shows you what I'm talking about. On one hand, you've got something called neural networks. These are super complex systems that are actually inspired by the human brain. All their layers make them amazing at recognizing complicated patterns, like in pictures or human speech. But then on the other hand, you've got simpler things, like decision trees. They work more like a flowchart, which makes them perfect for more straightforward classification tasks. See? Different recipes for different meals.
All right, we've seen the definition, we've walked through the 5 steps of the recipe, we've even peeked inside the cookbook. So, what's the big picture here? What does all of this add up to? I think this quote just sums it up perfectly. AI algorithms really are the brains behind all the smart systems that are all around us. They are the engine that turns all that messy, raw data into something useful, into actual insights and, a lot of the time, autonomous actions. So, the next time your phone unlocks with just your face, or your music app suggests a song that you instantly fall in love with, just remember this invisible engine. It's this powerful, self-improving recipe, always working behind the scenes, turning plain old information into actual intelligence. And that leaves us with a really fascinating final thought. We've established that AI is a recipe, and that recipe learns directly from the data, from the ingredients, that we are the ones feeding it. So the question for all of us is this. As the chefs in this giant global kitchen, what kind of dish are we actually creating? Because the quality of the final result will always depend on the quality of the ingredients we choose to put in. It's definitely something to think about. Thanks for joining.